Hello, and welcome to We'll Throw the After Party. Things are wild tonight. I'm your host, Marissa. I'm everywhere on the internet at Miss Bobissa, and I'm joined by Slycone MC and just Alexis Blake. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
And happy birthday, Alexis.
Happy birthday, Alexis.
Thank you.
Drop some tacos in the chat. Drop some alpines in the chat for Alexis on her birthday. Liz is not here. Liz does not have power. And poor Sly has been hosting so often when Liz is not here. And so I'm here. I'm in the number one seat tonight. This is very exciting. And if anything goes wrong, it's my fault. So here we go.
We're just keeping up the tradition. As we mentioned in the pre-show, Marissa also did her first co-host spot on Alexis's birthday last year.
Yes.
So we just have to keep it a tradition that every Alexis birthday show we do, Marissa has to take one more step of responsibility.
And next year, it's going to be a solo show, just me.
I think on my birthday last year, you kind of got thrown into it last minute too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was maybe an hour before the show. I got a FaceTime from Liz being like, so it's Alexis's birthday, and this is what I'm thinking. Also, she's not going to be there for the first hour of the show, so could you do the first hour with me?
And I know you just met her, but
yeah. But it was super fun, and we're going to have lots of fun again tonight. Anybody else have anything important to say before we get into it?
I think that's all of our housekeeping.
Amazing.
Oh, there might be a surprise Liz jump scare. So
that
just
is
be
true.
Prepared for that.
In case she magically gets power in the next 2 hours, watch out for producer Liz jump scare. Okay, with that, let's get into what we've been enjoying this week. I will go first because I think my dear friends have a more similar list than I do. The only thing on my list this week is Do Revenge, the new Netflix movie. Man, what a ride. I had so much fun watching that movie. It is like a perfect blend between Heathers and Mean Girls in like a very 2022 Gen Z self-referential way. It's so much fun. Highly recommend it if you're into that kind of thing. I have not seen Don't Worry, Darling. I keep saying I'm going to go see it every day. Haven't seen it. So don't spoil it for me. Sly, what have you been enjoying?
I finished Bad Buddy last week, which is the show that a while back, when Heartstopper came out and everybody was like, Heartstopper, I was like, I can't handle happy teen gays right now, and JJ was like, here, watch this instead, and then I didn't, and then we needed something to watch during 911's hiatus, so I watched it weekly with and recapped it on Thursdays, but I finished it and it is incredible. I'm so glad that I had a show that made me like space it out, because I would have binged it in one sitting if I didn't. It's like everybody should watch it. It's like a true rivals to lovers. It's gay. It's on YouTube. Like, it's super accessible. It's just really, really fun time. So yeah, that is. And then of course 911, but we'll get to that later.
Yes, we have a dedicated segment for the 911. Speaking of 911, Alexis, what did you enjoy this week?
So I'm gonna go. Well, I enjoyed 911 this week. I enjoyed Couch and Chair Twitter, which is related to 911. And the reason that I really enjoyed it is because I somehow ended up accidentally in the midst of it as it was occurring. So I got to see the first tweet where the first person did not make the couch and chair connection, right? Where the first person was just like, oh, look, Oliver Stark has arms and he's moving a chair. And was like, oh, you know, he's choosing something he already had. And then it was like instantly, like 50 people from who knows where were like, but the chair is Eddie. And it was just really exciting to see in real time. Whether I agree with it or not, it was exciting to see in real time. But something else I was enjoying this week, which I actually discovered today, which is really important, is that Simu Liu did a TikTok video with the Kinjas, which is something I have been waiting for since Shang-Chi came out. So for people who may not be aware, the Kinjas are an Asian Canadian, and Asian American dance crew that use martial arts and cultural movement combined with street dance and hip hop, like real hip hop, not like Ryan Guzman hip hop, to tell stories. They became really acclaimed when they did World of Dance, which is a production I have issues with, but they did really great on the show. They've done some really unique storytelling, and they have gone out of their way to make room in that space for newcomers and for female artists, which is not something we typically see in the dance crew space. But they were very supportive of Shang-Chi. They went to see the movie in theaters several times and did a bunch of posts and stuff about that. And they then worked with Nike to create the first dance sneaker and discussed Shang-Chi a lot in that space. So it was just so neat to see Simu Liu do a dance routine with them this week and kind of become a part of their community, become an honorary Kinja. And I will be really excited to see how that journey progresses. You can find it on both his TikTok and their TikTok if you are wanting to experience that.
That is so cool. Let's catch up with what everybody is saying in the chat. Party time. Happy birthday. Lots of tacos and cats for Alexis. More happy birthdays. Bunky's digging the hair sly.
I had to double check what I did with it. It's just like pulled up and then like a like half like bun thing. It's nothing special. I just needed it out of my face.
The curls are really curling tonight.
Yeah.
The curls are really curling.
They're really curling.
And then we also had a Liz jump scare in the chat, not on the screen, with a Only Murders reference. And then Liz in the chat with a 911 reference, which brings us to our 911 corner, in which I'm just gonna leave, and you can just talk about 911 for a second. And
there we go.
I didn't even realize we had a 911 corner. Okay.
It'll be quick. 911 premiered. Yay! Are we feeling good? Bad? How are we feeling about it? Yep. Okay. Cool.
The good side of neutral. Okay.
Yeah. Neutral positive. Love to see it.
Yeah.
We should do a little bingo update. If you did not see our bingo card, it should still be on our Twitter for season 6 of 911. I currently have 2.5 spaces crossed off. We got Eddie Diaz's rolled sleeves, very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
We got a OSHA violation with the people on the ladder, and then I half crossed off blatantly ignoring chain of command because it was like the universe of 911 itself blatantly ignoring the fact that there's a command structure,
yes,
but not necessarily a person ignoring chain of command. So that's what I have so far.
Yeah, I was not sure about the OSHA violation. That was I'm going to wait for Sly to tell me if I should check that box off.
It was so I'll full transparency. I saw it. I went, oh, that's an OSHA violation, and I forgot about it until JJ mentioned it again.
Okay. We did have a Taylor mention, but I thought it was an appropriate Taylor mention.
Mm-hmm.
and I did not check it, but I did think it was interesting that we saw the ladder go up and down by feet. Not a new feature, but something we have not put a pin in the past.
All right, fair enough. Let's bring Marissa back. Thank you for indulging our 911 corner. Oh no, everybody's messed up. There we go.
You're becoming Liz. Okay. Thank you for the 911 update. I did not understand any of that. I'm sure other people enjoyed it.
Yeah, next week we should do like a 911 in 60 seconds, like a 60-second recap for Marissa.
Like the whole show?
Chaos of that episode. I will summarize the episode for you and Liz, so we don't have another snake gate.
Well, maybe Liz will catch the last 10 minutes of the episode. You never know. She might start it halfway through.
If she got the last 10 minutes of this episode, she would have been highly lost.
I think she was highly lost with the episodes she's seen. Okay. Is it time? I think it's time.
Okay.
For everyone's favorite segment. It's time to rant. Sly, would you like to explain this segment?
Oh, I thought you were asking me what I was going to rant about. I can explain it, sure. So basically, we have this nifty little timer. My camera's reversed. Where we try to rant about something that's happened or something we feel strongly about in 2 minutes, but presented in 30-second increments where we're all cutting each other off. So yeah, this is the rant. It's chaotic. It's loud. It's gonna be a good time.
Ooh, we've got a suggestion. Liz should rant in the chat. Liz, we'd like you to type the full 2-minute rant.
Great idea, Bucky.
She's in. All right.
So be sure to check out the comments in the replay for the lovely Liz rant we are about to see.
Yeah, check that chat drop down. We'll give a little preview of what we're ranting about. As someone in our Instagram DMs correctly guessed, I am ranting about Jonathan Bailey being cast as Fiyero in the Wicked movie. Sly?
Okay, so here's the thing. I really want to rant about something that is much more negative than our usual rants. So my rant in my heart is why people don't hate AGB enough and how he's the one historical figure I would go back in time and sucker punch in the face. But we try to keep it a little more positive on this show. So I'm going to talk about why reading things outside of your ship or outside of your fandom is a very good thing and you should do it more.
Also, AGB does not stand for Game Boy Advanced, as Alexis discovered on the Google when she had
that
this
would be a
conversation with Sly earlier this week.
Yeah.
Listen, anybody who doesn't think that I am a full human does not deserve to get a full name.
I respect it. This week, without much context, in the same spirit that I did not give much context for my famous MCU sweater salesman rant, I will be explaining-ish. I will be listing things that I have decided to implement into my life post the 911 premiere.
Okay. Are we all ready?
No.
We're never ready.
Never.
Should we do it anyway?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Here we go.
I'm going on your go.
Oh, you want me to just start talking?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was waiting for the timer. Amazing. This is what happens when two different people are in charge. Okay. Jonathan Bailey, love of my life, has been cast as Fiyero in the Wicked movie, and I think it's perfect casting. He's perfect. She's perfect. They'll be perfect together. Born to be forever, dancing through life. My first point about Jonathan Bailey as Fiyero is people not knowing that he can sing. How do you not know that Jonathan Bailey can't sing? He has an Olivier Award for supporting actor in a musical. Oh,
I
boy.
really would just like to defer all of my time to Marissa's rant this week, but I'm not going to. So reading things outside of your ship and outside of your fandom could be really great. I've read a lot of great fanfics for shows I've never seen. I've read one of the best fanfics I read was a show and an AU of another show, and I had seen neither of the shows, and I had a blast. It's a good time. You don't need to know everything to enjoy amazing like works of writing. I promise.
Okay, so firstly, I will be shouting, everyone remain calm in a very not calm voice anytime I need people to be calm. So I'm thinking I'm just going to start walking into my office, like, everyone remain calm at all times. I'm also going to do a lot of unnecessary jumps because I, like Eddie Diaz, am a dramatic bitch. Specifically, I would like to do these jumps down ladders when it makes even less sense to do the unnecessary.
I knew Jonathan Bailey could sing before I knew Jonathan Bailey was Anthony Bridgerton on Bridgerton. I knew Jonathan Bailey could sing when I saw his audition video for the 2017 production of The Last 5 Years on the West End circulating on YouTube. Please go look it up. It is him in a callback singing If I Didn't Believe in You, Gaslight Central, and just giving the performance of his life. Next up, why is he the perfect Fiyero? Let's start at the beginning.
All right, so here's the thing. Bunky is so right. Fanfiction is literature. It's great literature, and you can enjoy it with any level of knowledge about something. You can enjoy reading something that is two people you would never pair together, but it's told in a really like powerful, compelling way, and you can have a blast. Did I read a fanfic with ship two people who I absolutely cannot stand the idea of them being together and that convinced me? Yes.
I am going to continue to avoid cheese. I am also going to highlight the missed opportunity in this week's episode by not sharing fun facts about blimps, even though I have them. I'm also going to start asking some really poignant questions in the office. Things like, and how are you defining life experience? Is there a reason my personal life experience is relevant in this professional space? What does the command structure look like from your point of view?
Once we've established that Jonathan Bailey can sing, next we must establish all the other reasons why he's a perfect Fiyero. And I'm going to do that through his media that I have consumed, which is Crashing, Bridgerton, that one episode of Chewing Gum, and the company soundtrack. Cast album. I can't believe I just said soundtrack. Sorry. Crucify Me Later. He can dance. We know he can dance from Bridgerton. Great dancer. Dancing Through Life. Fiyero is a dancer. He's also funny.
A way to convince people to watch things that they normally wouldn't is to send them fan fiction. It's a really great hook. You'll get me every time. I will so often read things from another fandom and then be like, now I'm intrigued enough to enjoy this content, you know? So maybe it's a like way to bond with your friends. Like reading things outside of your scope can be like so powerful. There's one of the best fics I ever read is a supernatural fanfic.
What does this command structure look like from my point of view? Can you give me examples of what the ideal candidate for this role would look like and as to how to apply for it? Will there be opportunities in this role for me to demonstrate those abilities? How do you feel you demonstrate important command abilities like communication on a daily basis? I've also decided to start playing dramatic Transformer music every time I see a fire station related vehicle.
Jonathan Bailey is funny. He can sing. He can dance. He's a little bit of an asshole. I don't think as a person, but his type, he plays a little bit of an asshole. Okay, Jamie, asshole. Not Jamie and Company, Jamie in the last 5 years. Sam from Crashing, deep asshole. Anthony Bridgerton, asshole. Fiyero, Act 1, a little bit of an asshole, but he's charming. Jonathan Bailey is very charming, and he can sing, and he can dance, and he's funny, and he's the perfect Fiyero, and I'm so excited. I don't care he's too old.
Listen, I'm not saying that Supernatural fanfic convinced me to watch Supernatural fanfic, because nothing could do that. But I will say there is some excellent works of Supernatural fanfiction, some which include original poetry written from the perspective of characters in the show, and it's really good literature, and you're missing out on all of of these incredible stories if you only focus on the one pair you enjoy from that one show. Read more fan fiction. It's
In
great.
fact, I did it this week while a fire medic was in my car, and I played that song from Top Gun. That it was great. I really enjoyed it. They hated it. I am going to tell people their class is famous for weird shit in an academy that does not exist in any state. I'm not going to tell people what I want. I am going to smirk with my hands on my hips, and I'm going to do it a lot. And most importantly, I'm going to fill my windshield wiper fluid. That's the most important thing I'm going to do.
That was perfect. It's almost like you planned that ahead of time.
What?
Okay, my favorite thing that happened during these rants is Liz realizing that our show is good. It's so fun to watch this show. Live, I mean. Thank you, Liz.
I also love Bunky being like, that's what I've been saying. Like, Bunky had to tell the creator of this show that it's a fun show to watch live.
Liz, you know the show that you've been running for a year and you spent a really long time planning and producing? It's good! Good job, Liz. Everyone put some tacos for Liz.
Liz also just realized what I wrote for the title. So I'm glad that could get a chuckle. Listen, I've started making the broadcasts for the show, but I'm not the funny copywriter. That is Marissa and Liz. So every week I'm like, I need a title, and then nobody responds, and so I just make up shit anyways, and that's what you get. I'm sorry.
The hard thing is usually we would come up with the title 2 hours before the show when the show doc had already been filled out and we knew what people were going to talk about. And Sly likes to ask 3 days before the show when nobody said anything. And so we're like, well, maybe this cultural moment will occur in the next 3 days.
I make them on Friday nights. Give me a little slack.
And you make a beautiful thumbnail every time.
Mm-hmm.
Tacos for the thumbnail. This is just going to be Marissa's the hype man, this show.
Woo, 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 woo.
Does anybody have any closing remarks for their rant? Amazing. We did such a good job. Okay. Yes, that is the thing that happens next. Great. Are we ready to talk about She-Hulk?
Yes, sorry, that was me remembering that we do have to summarize She-Hulk. I always forget that we do that.
Yeah, we put up the timer. We finish using the timer. We take the timer down, and then we put the timer right back up.
Listen.
Okay, but
very specific.
But Alexis, this was your idea.
God, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
You came up with the recap. I hate to break it to you.
You forget about it every week.
Why the fuck did I do that?
Okay. Now is the time every week where we decide, is it 20 seconds each or 30 seconds each?
The doc says 20, but we do 30 anyways.
Okay.
That's the real answer.
So are we doing 30 seconds each? Yes?
I think since
Sure.
there's 3 of us, we should do 30 seconds.
Amazing. Okay. So we're getting into our conversation about She-Hulk episode 6 now, and we are going to attempt to recap the episode in 30 seconds each. We are cheating because we do write notes while we watch the episode. Oh no, I have to start. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you do.
Great. All right. I need someone else's notes because my notes are not helpful. Hold on, I'm scrolling.
I love that Marissa's like, we cheat, we write notes. My notes are not helpful. I'm going to copy off someone else's paper. Hold.
I'm ready. All right.
Ready?
Yes. The episode starts, I believe, with a bridesmaid proposal box for Jen. And she's going to a wedding, and she has a cute aside to the camera where she says, if it seems like this wedding episode is in an inopportune time, it is, because that's when all weddings happen. Then she has a cute dress and she's excited to go to the wedding as She-Hulk and look really hot. But then she shows up and they're like, no, we didn't want She-Hulk. And then Patty Harrison is there.
All right, Chet's going to the wedding. Fuck Chet. Then we got the B plot of this episode is Mr. Immortal going through a divorce case because he keeps killing himself to get out of marriages. We get some gays. There's a new website called Intelligentsia where that's we'll come back later. We get a video game shout out. That was cool. Then there was a really bad fight.
Yeah, there's the She-Hulk fight at the wedding, which was very anticlimactic. There is also the worst part of the episode to me. It was finding out that Mallory is apparently married with a child. Just dashed all my dreams at the end there. We decide not to tell our besties that there are death threats against their life, and then we decide to do it anyway. And I forgot important shit, but I don't know what I forgot. So.
No, I think we did
Close
it.
enough.
I think that was actually pretty comprehensive. We got the wedding, we got the B plot, we got the spooky, scary at the end. Oh, we didn't. Okay. This is good. This goes into the next thing. Now we are going to toast to our favorite moments from the episode. What are we toasting with tonight? I have room temperature coffee at this point. What about you, Sly?
I thought we had a little banner for the toast. I have not yet room temperature cold brew.
Nice. So
hang on, I'm
cold
preparing my
brew.
beverage.
Is cold brew?
It's like it's not room temperature, but it's not like icy.
Okay.
It's like medium cold.
Uh-huh. Oh wow, we've got a lot of room temperature coffee in the crowd. Let us know what you're drinking tonight. Alexis, do you have your beverage prepared?
Yes, I am
Amazing.
toasting with Capri Sun.
Hell yeah. I love it. Okay. Who wants to go first? Should I go first?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
You get to decide. You could just call people out.
I feel awkward going first all the time, though. Okay, all right. And Alexis doesn't like going first, and then I don't know. Okay, I'm toasting to Jonathan, that creepy, sweaty, sad little dog.
That is a choice.
Yeah.
Cheers.
But you know what? He deserves a shout out because I realized that's what we didn't mention. Is that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we also didn't talk about the man. We'll talk about the man later.
Oh yeah, con guy. Yeah.
Okay. Sly, what are you toasting to?
I am toasting to video games being presented as morally neutral. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
They're on ESPN.
Yeah, video games are sports now. They're on ESPN. Okay. Alexis?
I am toasting to sitting on the table gaze.
Great.
I don't think that requires explanation.
No.
Absolutely not.
Mm-mm. Great, we did that. Check.
Mm-hmm.
And now those are the things we want to celebrate from the episode. But now we have to talk about the things that made us go, huh? Or what? Or why? Or how? Now it's time for our Hulk out moment of the week. I'll go first because mine's not serious. Why the fuck did no one tell me that Patty Harrison is on this show? I'm looking at the faces on the screen. I know you don't know who Patty Harrison is. That's fine.
I am currently going to Google.
Can I put a disclaimer? Marissa just says, why did no one tell me Patty is in this? And I went, Patty LuPone was in this episode?
No.
No, she was not.
The actor that plays Madison with one Y and two N's, but it's not where you think, also is named Patty. Patty
Hmm.
Guggenheim. That's her last name. I couldn't remember it. Patty Guggenheim. But no, Patty Harrison plays Lulu, and she is absurd. She's a insane person. She's not. She's just a very funny, dark, weird, off-the-wall comedian that I greatly enjoy. And she's also trans, and nobody's talking about that. Which is cool that nobody's talking about that. That's fun. But I did scream at my TV when she showed up because I did not know she was on this show, and I got very excited because I think she's very funny and cool. And so I would like to direct my aggression towards Walt Disney Media, the creators of She-Hulk, Patty Harrison herself, anyone that did not inform me before this episode that she was going to be appearing in it. Thank you so much.
Personally.
Yes, I would like you all to personally apologize to me. Thank you very much. Okay, Sly.
Mine's less fun. Mine is Mallory being like, we're not gonna inform Jen that death threats are made against her person. What the fuck? Who thought that was a good idea? I don't know what I said that was that funny, Alexis.
It was the way you said "what the fuck," which I will never be able to like emulate. But it was just
Alexis is just gonna watch that segment of the episode over and over again.
all week. I've been trying to figure out how to make a TikTok video where the sound is Sly being like, "It's gay, it's witches."
That's a good one. I thought you were gonna bring up the "you're out of time, bucko."
Because that is something we say in my house all the time. Like, my mother has said that to me my entire life. That was not like a phrase that like
Liz lost it, and
yeah,
I did not expect
captured
it to
me the
be
way it
that
did Liz,
funny.
yeah.
I didn't even process it. I was too upset that I couldn't get to my meme. If you're wondering what that's referring to, check out the replay from last week's episode. Yeah, I think Mallory's just pragmatic.
Thank you, Bunky.
I
What
think
is
it's
with this?
No, I think it's reasonable.
To not inform somebody that there are
Sly,
death
I am
threats being made
trusting you.
against this person?
To inform me when there are death threats made against me, because clearly Marissa will not be doing that.
No, I will not. I will not. I will be pretending I never read them.
Jesus Christ. Marissa,
I
Team
don't think
Ignorant
they're
can only take you
serious.
so far.
Oh God.
Oh.
I don't
Okay,
think.
so my
all right.
holdout moments of the week
Thank you.
include the fact that Nikki's last name is Ramos, which, though comic accurate, was a jump scare for me. I hate assumptions of wants, so I was pissed that was in this episode. I'm over the hair shit. I was not here for what I personally felt was Mallory Nikki queerbaiting. And this stupid polka dot dress. So those things. I said I would pick just one and I didn't. So
No, that's fair. They were all what is the
Something.
yeah, they were
valid,
all valid.
important,
Yeah.
worthy of being said.
Yeah. All of those things. That's great. Thank you.
Something.
I mean, yeah. Speaking of the dress, let's start with the dress because it's not cute. Right? Like, I mean, she looked great. Jen always looks great. But navy and white polka dots on green skin? Also, I don't really understand what the silhouette was.
Also,
like,
what was
that's
the
her,
entire
like-
point of going to a tailor that can accommodate 2 body sizes, only to get a dress that does not accommodate 2 body sizes?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't. I also like. I don't really understand why it had to be made by him. I guess like to fit her proportions, maybe, but like it wasn't a relevant thing that it was a Luke, whatever, original. Like It's just a
It
dress.
wasn't even a good dress.
No.
And it wasn't fitted to either body type.
No, and it's supposed to be her, like, fuck me dress? Like, navy and white polka dots?
There was also a material shift. Like She-Hulk's dress had more chiffon material in it in the underlayer than Jin's dress did. Jin's dress was clearly more silk.
Yeah.
Liz wants to know how you felt about the pearls.
Me?
Mhm.
I was good with the pearls. I did find it interesting that Jin's pearls were clearly longer because she had been planning to go to the wedding as She-Hulk, so they would have fit at the right length with her She-Hulk proportions. So I was pro pearl. I think my main thing with the polka dot dress is that the whole Luke Jacobson thing feels like this giant missed opportunity. And I'm kind of on two stances here. One is that Marvel and Disney Plus have recently hired an absolutely brilliant black male gay designer to design and to style a lot of their actors. And because of that, it is really upsetting to me that he is not also just in the show. I think Chase Dennings, who is an icon of mine, would do much better job in that role. The second is that I just feel that for a show that is doing so much in-universe work, right, of really showing us how the inner workings of the universe are, that they could have done really cool things with this Luke Jacobson thing, right? Like we could have talked about leaked research about shield suits and how they did or didn't work. We could be discussing much more like how he got into superhero fashion and like how, you know, why he does that and what the rest of his clientele looks like. And he could be making really cool things. But to me, the whole thing just keeps coming off as like somebody on SNL trying to be Edna Mode from The Incredibles. Like it's just not thought out well enough to be hitting anywhere. Like wool suits and polka dot dresses are supposed to convince me that you were some like fashion icon. I mean, we've had wool suits and polka dot dresses literally since 1942.
Yeah. I also...
But the pearls were great.
The pearls were great. There were... Well, okay. Positive fashion this episode. We can talk about Titania because she's bringing looks. I don't know. Part of me is like they're dressing Jen poorly because Jen dresses poorly, even when she's being dressed by someone who's not supposed to be dressing her poorly, to like be in comparison to Titania because Titania serves looks. Very much a fashion that I would expect from one Alexis Blake in this episode. That pink pantsuit was very Alexis.
Alexis wants the pink pantsuit.
Okay. Check. Did that. Where do we go from here?
I mean, we can talk about the Titania storyline. How we're feeling about it.
Sure. Yeah. Let's start with her in this episode. How did we feel about how she was plopped in?
I appreciated the plop. I did. I felt like I could buy that. To me, the ending made it so that like none of it felt like it was worth it. Like the ending was very anticlimactic to me. Like I love a bitch that's like cunning enough to like kind of like wedge her way into this wedding to make someone's like life miserable. Like I'm down for that grift, but I did not feel like the rest of it like carried through for me. And I had actually put this note in the doc with a bunch of question marks because I never know who's showing up in this show. And I was hoping Marissa would be like, no, we're getting more of her. It's not the end. Do you have any idea?
I doubt it's the end.
Okay, cool.
I don't know for sure. But I don't think she's the big bad. I think that's pretty clear. I do think she's fun. And I like her just being plopped in to be like an annoying problem that won't go away for Jen. I think that's fun. I think she is very good at being an annoying problem. And I didn't know or consider that it was a bad fight until Sly said that about 10 minutes ago, because I thought it served exactly the purpose it was supposed to serve, which is a bad fight. It's a cat fight. It's like two girls in middle school slapping each other like this. Like it's not the stakes aren't, life or death. It's very much, you are annoying to me, you are annoying to me, so now we have to punch each other. Which I think
appreciate
is fun.
low stakes. I really enjoy that. The setup of having like a primary antagonist and then bringing in the like real big bad later, it's like what we've seen so much from them. My problem with Titania is I don't have any strong feelings about her character. And like when you have a strong antagonist, I either have to love them or hate them. Right? Like it make me feel some kind of way about them. Am I sympathetic? Am I just like, oh, this person's, but she's just there. And like I appreciate her just being, low stakes, annoying nuisance that pops up everywhere. But it's just not making me have any sort of emotions towards her.
I think
Yeah.
it's totally valid. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, okay, this is where the comedy show perspective comes in, because I think from like a half-hour comedy perspective, the sort of antagonist role is more a bee in your bonnet than a threat to take down. So I think she's very much filling that role. So I think, I don't know. I'm not bothered by her in that way, I guess, because I understand the role she's fulfilling, which is not a role of much substance, I guess, which so yes, what you're saying is very true. This point from Bunky, where did it go? About her powers. I feel like Sly had a note about that a few weeks ago.
I had a note about it, but I don't know that the show confirmed it. There was a reference made in like a kind of like a salacious, like National Enquirer type background thing that her powers were from a mob hit gone bad. But I don't know that the show has confirmed that that was the case, or if in the show it is supposed to be like a rumor.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I do find it interesting though, Marissa. I am genuinely fascinated. I am genuinely interested in rewatching the show now and re-looking at that fight, because to me, I wanted it to feel like a cat fight and it didn't. To me, in revealing more about myself than I need to, any fight I have had with a woman has been a drag out, knockout, like people's extensions are being ripped out of their hair, their head kind of fight. Even in middle school. And I think that's more kind of what I expected from this maybe, and that's not what we got. I also think they have to be cognizant as a show that has now every episode gone out of their way to include some sort of commentary about toxic fanboys. I do think they then have to be really careful about the fighting that they do, in that it can live up to the fighting that male characters do in the MCU in some way, right? Like it either has to be like a really dynamic female fight that meets the female experience, or it has to be a fight that could stand up beside like a Iron Man who has no fight experience fight. at the least, right? I think you run a weird risk of undermining your own commentary by having women fight in such a way that just felt like an afterthought. And I think that's how it felt to me when I first watched it. So it'll be interesting to see. I will be interested to see, take a shot every time Alexis says interested, to see how I feel about that upon rewatch.
That is interesting because I feel like they don't have to do, I feel like they should not be trying to live up to that caliber of fight. I feel like they don't owe it to the fanboys. I think I don't think that I don't feel like they need to be cognizant of those comparisons because this show is from point of view, from creatives, from storyline, style, all of it is in such a different direction and directed at a different audience in a lot of ways. I feel like they would be doing a detriment to themselves in trying to, have every fight be a Cap versus Winter Soldier style fight I keep saying the same words over and over again, at the detriment of the story that they're trying to tell. Because I don't think that Jen or Titania are very competent fighters. And I don't think that the plot or the emotion is being played through the action in the same way it would be in a more dramatic or, I don't know, climactic piece of content. So,
sorry, finish.
No, go for it.
I would agree with you on it doesn't need to be a competent fight because we don't really think these characters would be competent fighters. If we hadn't had the entire first episode be a setup of Jen learning how to fight.
I guess. But she didn't really learn how to fight. She just sort of was already good at it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess.
But she wasn't in this episode.
No, but she was drunk.
This episode was not consistent with any of the other
consistent with the characterization. Yeah.
But she was drunk and she was annoyed and she was tired. And I'm Team Jen.
To me, it's not Jen's fault. I think I am just personally tired of Marvel projects portraying the fighting of women in one way and portraying the fighting of men in another.
Yeah.
And I think this show was in an interesting place to maybe change those dynamics in a way that they've chosen not to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely not the direction they're skewing their commentary. So
I think this leads into another point we have. Do we need a superhero plot? What effect do we think it will have on the show?
Yeah. I loved Alexis's note, like, oh, yeah, there's a superhero plot because this is a superhero show. It's like, you have so much fun just watching Jen be Jen, and it's a lawyer show, but then, oh, just kidding, there's also superheroes. I don't know. It's a weird place to put it, I guess. It's a third act, I guess, if we're thinking about it in groups of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Third act, superhero plot. I don't know what we've learned so far. Like, I feel like we haven't really... It's been very, like, pedestrian, day to day. Like, this is Jen. She goes to work. She has friends. She goes on dates. She's also a Hulk. Like, there hasn't been a arc of growth in a lot of ways. So it's interesting to be introducing this other layer now, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm interested to see how it resolves, if it even resolves. Like, where does it go from here?
Yeah. I think because like we said, it's, you know, a lawyer show. But is it really, is my question. It feels more like a Jen day-to-day
Mhm.
show, like a day in the life of Jen show, which is fine, but when all of the emphasis is this is a lawyer show. This is about a lawyer who is also a superhero. We're not getting a lot of lawyering from Jen. We're getting a lot of lawyering from Mallory this episode, which was great. We got like a lot of brilliant Nikki stuff, but that's not showing me that Jen is a competent lawyer. I want her doing her thing in her element, right? That's where I want her power to come from, is her being a very competent lawyer, and we're not really getting that. So when they're trying to be like she's a person but also competent as a superhero, I'm like, we're missing that foundation of
Mhm.
her being a competent lawyer to get us to that point, at least
It's
for me.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about that this past week with how Jen was portrayed in this episode. And I think that maybe there were like two show options and they have kind of combined them in a way that's not exactly working, because I will call out Sly and say that Sly and I are competency people. So I think Sly and I expect competency and want people to be competent because, who doesn't like competency? But I think there is a version of this show where Jen is just an average person and she's average at lawyering and she's average at being a friend and she's average at as a superhero and all of that stuff. I think that is one show. I think the lawyer Jen show would have been better designed with a competent Jen lawyer who struggles at other pieces of her life. And I think they've kind of given us pieces of both of those that aren't really gelling, because they at times present to us that we need to accept Jen as a really competent lawyer, but then we never see Jen be a really competent lawyer. And I made the note about the superhero plot in part because especially the three of us, I think, since the beginning of this show have been like, do we want a through plot? I don't know that I want a through plot, right? And in this episode, to me, presenting it in the way that it did felt very much like, are they going to change the structure of the show now to focus on this through plot? Now, I don't know that they're going to do that. I would be much happier if they didn't. But it did have a really, I think in the color scheme and what they chose, how they chose to introduce that to us, and like even the camera angles, all of a sudden it had a very like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. feel. And I was like, ooh, I don't know that that's what I want from the show that I thought I was getting, which was more of like a day in the life.
Yeah. It's difficult. They're trying to balance a lot with like average pedestrian person, also lawyer, also superhero, also like commentary on women. Like it's a lot for a half-hour comedy in a way that like Falcon and the Winter Soldier was about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier being the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, whereas this is like 5 things in 30 minutes. So yeah, it's a challenge. What are people saying in the comments?
Liz had a really great comment about episode length. And it stood out to me because when this show first started, there was a lot of conversation about episode length. And I was firmly on the half hour is fine side. But I do think, even though I still feel that a half hour is fine for the type of show that they pitched to us, I do feel that the show is doing too much for a half hour. And to me, this episode really cemented that they are trying to put too much in a half hour show.
It feels like they're writing for an hour show and taking out what doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh.
That's really true. What's gonna happen in 3 episodes? Wow. Okay. Sticking with this episode though, let's talk about sort of within the structure as we're discussing, the fourth wall breaks and how they fit. You know, I feel like we talk about it every week, and like, does it make sense? Does it not make sense? Did it make sense for this episode? How were they?
I only remember one, and it was at the very top. Was there any others?
There was one at the wedding.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's 2. One at the beginning and one about like halfway through-ish.
I feel like there were some like asides to the camera that weren't verbal, that were just like, I can't believe this is happening right now. But yeah, I felt like when I read this point, I was like, oh yeah, it was good this episode. I felt like it like fit with the structure, and it, you know, made appropriate commentary to what was going on. But like, now that I actually think about it, it still is like only once an episode, really, where it's meaningfully used. So I don't know. I know it's a you know, device from the comics, but again, I feel like it's part of that half hour cutting to fit that like we're missing stuff.
I thought one of the things that stood out to me this episode is that I feel like, for me personally, when the fourth wall breaks work best for me when we're making commentary about the structure. That's just my preference. And I like, to me, the first one in this episode, she's like, a wedding episode. Yeah, the timing's crap, but like the weddings are crap. Like, I like that. I was then I personally needed Jen to explain to me in this episode the whole wedding thing. That was just not something I caught as a viewer. So I appreciated her coming to the camera and being like, well, of course I didn't want to show up to the wedding, you know, as Jen. But because I was so in my head, I was so used to the fourth wall breaks being about like this meta commentary, that was a little off-putting for me. I'm like, oh, okay. Now the fourth wall breaks are like also telling me, you know, about how Jen feels. When I think in the past, the ones that have really hit have been like, remember who this show is about. It's not just going to be a show full of cameos, and like, oh, well, maybe there will be a fun teaser at the end, or like, you know, we all love Wong. Wong is great. Twitter armor. So in the same way that we were talking about before, sometimes the episode's trying to do too much. I think that maybe in this episode we were trying to do too many different things. And I also would appreciate the fourth wall breaks more if they were showing up more consistently throughout the episodes themselves, which I think other episodes in the past have done a better job at.
Yeah.
Liz makes a great point about the fourth wall breaks, about them doing 2 an episode, where the rule of threes is so critical to comedy. Yeah, I agree with you, Alexis. Like, when they're just like sprinkled in throughout the episode, they feel so seamless, and that's what we were really getting at the beginning. And I know we mentioned last week that apparently they had a lot more and they had to pare down, but yeah, that it felt abrupt going from the short, quick, sprinkled in moments to like maybe 1 or 2 an episode. And so if it was a little more consistent, I think it would have landed a lot better for me.
I think it's also, I think I said this last week, it's also harder in the episodes where there's a B plot, because you don't have as much time with Jen on screen anyway. And like, Fleabag is not the direct comparison, but in Fleabag is always on screen. She's like, almost never in a scene. I think she is in every scene. And so it makes sense when she has asides to the camera. And it feels more natural and even throughout each episode because you're always with her. Whereas this, because there's a B plot and because like half the episode is with Nikki, as it continues to be, you sacrifice this device. I mean, it would honestly be better probably if like Mallory and Nikki also broke the fourth wall, because it would be a more even split through the episode. Great. Good job, team.
Love that.
We did it. Can we talk a little bit about commentary? We talked about it a little bit for a second, but we have the fandom commentary, the toxic capital M men, and then we also have the Jen She-Hulk situation and how she is characterized. I feel like we talked about that a little bit, so let's start with the men. Alexis, you made some notes about this.
Well, the notes were made in the spirit of, honestly, in the spirit of opening the conversation, because I think something that we mentioned in maybe a past after party was that when you do this type of commentary about like toxic fanboys, to me, you then have to be very clear like about the fact that they're toxic and like about the ethics around that. Like you have to be clear about how you're presenting that narrative. And I think at times in other shows, Marvel maybe introduces a character, John Walker, and then is not clear about how the audience is supposed to perceive John Walker. The first episode of She-Hulk, there was a lot of commentary that it was heavy-handed. And I was honestly just looking for your all's opinions. I don't know that I have one at this point, but about how we feel, because that commentary is now coming up every episode. And, so my question was like, do we feel like it is clear enough? Do we feel like it's doing enough? Do we feel like it's worth it to be in the show? I think you both kind of have different perspectives on that. So that was kind of why I put it in there.
Yeah. I don't know. I appreciate it, I think. I think it makes sense for the story that they're trying to tell, or for at least what I assume is the story they're trying to tell. I think because I feel like the target audience is very clear for this show, I feel like I know who it's speaking to. And maybe as a member of that target audience, it can feel a bit heavy-handed. But I think that is like the extra layer of, we have a target audience, but we understand that target audience is not the majority of the audience. And so we need to distill these points further. And I feel like they've done an okay job of like laying it out pretty hard at the beginning and starting to sort of like distill it a little bit with each episode and say like, here's some more, and like here's a little bit more, and like here's an even more specific situation as the episodes continue. And so it is sort of like spoon feeding in a way, but like secret spoon feeding, where like you give your pet their medicine, but like in a treat. I feel like it's that in a little bit of a way. So
I think to that point, that when we look at the beginning of the show of how, quote unquote, heavy-handed that messaging was, it served two purposes. It either turned off the people who aren't going to get the rest of the show, and they go, this isn't the show for me, right? Because it's so in your face about it that some people just aren't going to watch it. And they set that up so that moving forward, they don't have to deal with those people, right?
Yeah.
And then the other side of it is being so explicit and so direct that the people who need it thrown in their face to understand it go, oh, wow, I didn't realize that that was the female experience.
Mhm.
And it's now starting to click a little bit. And then you can kind of shape that through the
Mhm.
rest as it tapers down, as it becomes more implicit. You're leading them on that journey.
Yeah.
I think one of the things in hearing the two of you talk about it that has been fascinating to me is that I feel like there are times where they really want the commentary to be clear, i.e. toxic fanboys. But then there are moments where they include commentary like, I'm a good guy. Well, you keep saying that. And it is so much more subtle because they so overdid this one that I wonder if that kind of commentary gets lost. And what, without using names or calling anybody out directly, what has been really interesting to me in watching the feedback on TikTok from this show is that there are a lot of male creators in the Marvel comic space that really go out of their way to talk about women or female characters, to talk about diversity, and that I think are presenting themselves to their TikTok audience as good, nice guys that care about this type of thing. And I have consistently seen them miss the point. I don't know how many times I have seen these men make She-Hulk videos that are only about the men in She-Hulk. Right? Like, oh, it was so great to see Wong. Let's talk about all these things that Wong did. And I think it is great to see Wong. I think we should talk about the great things that Wong did. But it has also been very funny to me because I'm like, we are watching this show that is trying to commentate on that type of behavior and is trying to set Jin as like the female character in the show, to focus the show around her. And those types of things I think are being mixed. So I think it's an interesting balance. Yeah.
It also sort of, in an indirect way, this is just a thing I want to talk about, so I'm going to say it. The reaction to the tease of Daredevil in the bumper of last episode, and then no payoff in this episode, has been very interesting.
I love it.
Of people being like,
so much.
why am I still watching this show? It's like, because it's not his show. Like, that's been laid out very clearly from the beginning. And it's like, they are, I don't know. I think that's fun, is that this show like understands that it's making people mad on purpose. And I kind of love that.
I love a bumper with no payoff. Like, that just like is everything to me.
That one also needs to go on the soundboard because I think we could use it a lot. I don't think there's a Marvel show that one has not applied to.
That's, I mean, is there a Marvel project that has not applied to? Yeah. Cool. Great job, team. What else do we want to talk about?
Let's shout out some notes.
Okay.
Sure, yeah.
Because
Liz
I
has
have a
some great
favorite
stuff
from me.
Okay.
One of my notes this episode was finally some goddamn gays.
Mm-hmm.
That's the vibe.
Yeah. This episode was such a ride for me because as we have discussed in previous episodes, my view, like my ability to comprehend and perceive like relationships and tension and like attractiveness in media, not my strong suit. So I constantly doubt myself. And this was an episode to me where I was like, oh, was it not gay? Like, did I misread everything that I thought I read? but I don't think
No,
that
I
I
will
did.
say you did not. One of my notes was she's married with kids. Why is she flirting with everybody? Because Mallory has flirted with literally everybody she's interacted with.
That is true.
Nikki was definitely flirting.
Okay,
If
thank
Mallory
you.
was flirting back with her, I don't know. But Nikki was definitely flirting.
Well, and I was
I
like,
mean, I thought Mallory was flirting with Jen. So,
yeah.
No, that one I wasn't on your
Yes.
team for.
Yeah, but I thought I definitely had a moment where I thought maybe Jen was flirting with Mallory as well. Like there was some weird
Mhm.
tension
Yeah.
happening there.
I mean, who wouldn't flirt with Renee Elise Goldsberry? Is the real question here.
I know. Yeah.
Was it queer baiting? I don't think so. But I'm sorry that you felt that way.
Well, but there was like tension there, right? Like
There was tension.
yeah. Okay.
I wouldn't call that queer baiting.
Okay, sure.
I don't know. I don't think one scene can be labeled queer baiting.
They were sitting in a chair together.
Were they?
Were they not? Oh, that'll be so exciting for me on a
In
rewatch.
one chair.
When I watched it through, it looked like they were sitting in that chair together. And I was like,
No, I think Nikki was in the chair and Mallory was on
behind
the floor.
the chair?
No, on the floor next to her.
I have no idea what you're talking about. But check out the rewatch. Send us the screen grabs.
Yeah, for sure.
The question for us.
I mean, when you say this episode was a ride for you, Alexis, you are not exaggerating because you have, I don't know, probably 7 pages of notes.
See, this is funny because when we were doing the Rowdy recap, I was like, damn, I didn't take as many notes this week as I thought I did.
I counted 6.
Truly so many.
I did
God.
watch it twice,
I did
so
not
it is
read all of these.
viewings worth of notes.
Wow. I mean,
Yeah,
I can't pick just one. My favorite of my own notes, I've taken to just writing quotes from the episode. My favorite this week was "Be careful, he leaks a little" when handing off the dog to Jen. That was just an aside from one of the other bridesmaids. I'm like, that's a sad, sad dog. But also,
I hated everything about the dog. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Marissa.
Oh no, I hated it, but it was funny.
Okay. I don't get comedy.
I know. It's okay. I did have a note for you though, Sly. I have a note for you. When Mr. Immortal jumps out the window, the glass would not have broken that easily. My note is that glass would not break that easily, OSHA corner.
I do love an OSHA corner. Yeah, no, that glass shattered very quickly. Obviously, GLK&H did not, they definitely probably paid off some inspectors, and they definitely did not use the best quality materials in that building. And honestly, that tracks for everything about them as a company.
Yeah.
So I totally bought the window shattering like that. I was like, shoddy construction fits with everything we know about this firm.
I really like that you took like a big brain approach to it.
Right.
Because as the bitch that is constantly comparing Marvel properties to the CW's Arrow and pretending that they're not, there's like an opener of a season in like, I don't know, like season 3, where Oliver and Felicity swing through the window to break it. And they could be identical shots. Like one, this one, he's clearly going out the window and they're going in, but like it's these big glass panes in business buildings and they break the exact same way. And that is all I could think of.
That's fair.
And then Sly comes in with like, you know what? They feel like evil lawyers that would have had shoddy construction on their building.
That's like such a justification. I was just like, it's California. There's earthquakes. That glass is not stable.
Yeah. True.
I mean, it was for comedy. It was fun, but
imagine if there was like an earthquake and then the building ended up sideways and then everybody like slid against the glass and they got stuck there forever and people had to come and like, okay, I'm quitting now. Okay.
And on that note,
sometimes I make weird little references, and my dream is that one day someone with my brain will rewatch our show, like we'll watch it after the fact in the replay, and we'll leave a comment. And it has not happened yet, but I am waiting for the day where somebody is like, oh my God, I totally got that obscure, weird, random reference.
That obscure reference. It's literally from 7-1. It's 911.
Thank you, Sly. Feel free to watch the replay and leave that as a comment so my dreams come true.
All right. On that note, I'm not hosting. Marissa, take it away.
All right. I think unless we have any more pressing matters, we can wrap up the She-Hulk discussion there. Mm-hmm. Yes, are we feeling good? Great. Closing the book, moving on. It's a very exciting day. It's a very exciting day. Happy birthday. Are we doing it? We're committing to you. Yeah. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear
my wife.
Oh, happy birthday to you.
The whole thing was worth it for that.
So, because it is Alexis's birthday today, on this very day, at this current moment, we're gonna celebrate her in the best way we know how, which is a PowerPoint night. I'm not clear on if we all followed the prompt.
God.
I don't believe we did.
No, I believe the original prompt was give a presentation on a niche subject Alexis knows a lot about. I don't think any of us did that.
I don't think there has been an episode of this show where we all understood the prompt the same way. Ever. I don't think it has happened. So
we all just sort of decided what we wanted to talk about. And it's all about Alexis because we're celebrating Alexis. This presentation is delivered from the heart of Liz via the voices of Marissa and Sly.
Oh God.
Marissa have not read this PowerPoint.
We've been instructed not to open it until right now.
Oh, great.
Because apparently that would be more fun.
I do like the pink, Elizabeth. I appreciate you giving me some pink before I'm about to endure whatever it is I'm about to endure.
I believe. Hold on. Let me find the exact description Liz gave, because she said, I think it's actually funnier if you two present my PowerPoint for me, but don't look at it ahead of time. It's part conspiracy theory about the South, part group discussion. So I don't know what that means, but we're about to find out.
We will find out indeed. This is where Alexis lives, according to Liz, aka the only Canadian on both are the after party, presented by Marissa and Sly, who have not read this PowerPoint. Let's get into it. Alexis lives in America. Okay.
In a southern state that Liz thought was closer to Texas, even though it's only a 1 hour time zone difference from Liz.
It is possible to drive to Alexis, but it would take a very long time, but not as long as it would take to drive to Sly, who in Liz's head lives in LA and definitely not Seattle.
It is probably also possible to drive to Marissa, but the fact that Chicago is on the water makes it absolutely not possible to drive to her in Liz's mind, which is not true.
This is about Alexis, so let's move on.
Alexis could be anywhere in red for all Liz knows.
Kind of, right?
Got close.
I mean,
I think you may actually be cutting me off.
I actually, yeah.
Even better. All right, Alexis does not live in Nashville. Liz is certain of this.
But the following clues make it seem like Alexis lives somewhere Nashville adjacent.
Oh, God.
Example A. This seems like an outfit one would wear somewhere. Okay, the screen is like this big for me. This seems like an outfit one would wear somewhere Nashville adjacent.
This is Alexis last night. Did you have a good night, Alexis?
I was not topsy. It was a great night.
Alexis discovered the joys of sugared ribs and was very enthusiastic about it.
I did.
Okay, that was the only example. Moving on. Oh, even better.
Oh my god.
I will also say that outfit was not worn. I mean, it was worn where I live, but we went out of where I live for that outfit to be appropriate. Continue.
Okay. Now that we have established Alexis definitely lives in a physical place that is accessible by car from Canada and Nashville adjacent.
Here's what Liz knows about Alexis's life in the place she definitely certainly lives.
Accompanied by a group discussion points so Alexis can practice being a professor.
Oh man. She gets a large sweet tea anytime she is in her car.
Which is often.
It's like Liz going to Tim Hortons.
How much sugar is in sweet tea? Can we get sugar-free sweet tea? Is it really tea? Why are the cups styrofoam if it's real tea? Does sweet tea intake alter life expectancy? Discuss.
There's a lot of sugar in sweet tea.
Yeah.
You can get a fake sweetener.
Yep.
Is it really tea?
Alexis
I don't
cannot
know.
because Alexis is allergic to that.
It is really
Sugar-free
tea.
Yeah, sugar-free sweet tea would just be iced tea, so quick story. The other day I went somewhere to get sweet tea and they gave me unsweet tea, iced tea. And I went back to the graduate assistant office with it. And this is an office of like, some people in my office maybe thought the overturning of Roe v. Wade was fine, right? Like we are a very like diverse office. And everyone pretty much agreed that people that accidentally give you unsweet tea when you order sweet tea should go to hell. That was the assumption. So iced tea, and in fact, iced tea in Kentucky, when you get to the point in Kentucky where you can only get iced tea instead of sweet tea at McDonald's is for my people where we've decided the North is.
Honestly, that's fair. That's actually really fair.
Yeah.
All right.
Her
life is an estate sale.
Does Alexis own anything not from an estate sale? Support your answer with visual aids.
How can you live in a small population rural community and have so many estate sales? Does everyone die all the time? Does no one inherit things? Is everyone a hoarder? Is this why Alexis loves true crime? Is it the sweet tea? Listen, Alexis and I have discussed many a times what constitutes rural, because I live in real rural and Alexis lives in fake rural.
There is also now, I will not go into this, but just so everyone knows, there is now a 10-point standard scale for rurality that is used in research. So you can decide how rural or not rural where you live.
I would love to know what
on
I
some
am
scale.
compared to where you are.
We can do that math someday.
I feel like Alexis and I are closer on the rural spectrum than you would expect.
I would put Sly with my dad's parents. I would say that they are on the same rural spectrum.
Yeah. Do you have any visual aids to support your answer, Alexis?
About rurality? No.
About owning something not from an estate sale.
That's from my mom, but she got it at an estate sale. These are from China.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
You did it.
Woo. All right. Next up.
Do I actually say this?
Oh,
not a lot.
On very rare occasion.
Okay.
Yeah. Bless your heart. An exploration.
Alexis has taught Liz that This is passive aggressive and not actually wishing people great cardiovascular health.
How many bless your hearts can you receive before you have a heart attack? Does this connect to estate sale rates going up? What happens if you say bless your heart at an estate sale? What if someone says it to you while you are at an estate sale drinking sweet tea? This is no longer about where Alexis lives.
I said it this week at an estate sale while drinking sweet tea. And it was not meant fondly.
Love that.
Yes.
So much.
Also, both the earbuds and my laptop were estate sale purchases, but thank you.
Wow.
My microphone was not. So that's yeah, I could have held up my mic. My mic is not.
All right. This is why we need pictures, apparently.
Things Liz wouldn't be surprised to see where Alexis lives.
My face. Is that
That's Bella Swan from Twilight.
Okay. A China teacup, a cat in a cowboy hat, and some white dude in a suit in a cornfield.
I believe that's Luke Bryan.
Okay.
Almost all of these Alexis has discussed in her home. So the Bella Swan part doesn't really connect for me.
No, but the car I learned to drive on was a 1992 Ford 4x4. It was a pickup truck, so close enough.
Yeah.
There you go.
I do know for a fact Alexis has teacups like that.
I do.
Because I also do.
All right. Things Liz would be surprised to see where Alexis lives. Marissa with the caption, "That's my wife."
Love you. Lin-Manuel Miranda, but in his outfit from that HBO show that I can't remember the name of, she says, "I feel he would not be welcome."
I also don't know who this man is.
That is, I don't remember his name at this moment. It's Panic at the Disco. His name is Brandon Urie. Brandon Urie.
Makes the dream work. I do not feel your homeland is one of panicking or disco. Oh man, incredible.
Well done.
It would switch from third person to first person nerd.
This is maybe the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
This is so much longer than mine.
I also really appreciate that Marissa did not know who Luke Bryant was. Neither did Sly. That was great for me.
No, my screen is too small right now.
Okay, yeah, sure.
All right. Final slide. In conclusion.
Regardless of where Alexis lives, Alexis deserves the best birthday. Here's Liz's attempt at a reasonably appropriate birthday greeting.
Alexis, you sweet, darling young lady, you. Happy birthday, doll. You are such a silly Billy. I hope your heart is actually blessed and your sweet tea is spiked. Golly gee, it is a treat to be your friend. You are sweeter than sweet tea and just like all the other Southern girls. Sweet tea, exclamation point, Liz.
Wow. Oh, I wish we could go back to Liz's birthday and write her a Canadian birthday wish.
Oh, God. Yeah, I will be doing that for the next one. Wow, that was fantastic.
Thank you very much, Liz, for your contribution.
I will also think of that every time I say golly gee.
I see. Bella was more like, just like the other girls with trucks. So it was more
the other girls.
An archetype than
Correct.
Than her specifically. Okay, I see.
Just like the other girls.
Yeah, as you are. Absolutely.
All right. Next up.
Okay. Thank you. This one's quick.
I must say the switch from like pink Shopify template to 2010 PowerPoint standard is a lot.
I committed to the bit. Thank you.
You did, yeah.
All right. This is what Alexis has taught me. Cats are actually great, and an allergic person who doesn't like cats should just stop being allergic and start liking cats because it is personally offensive to Alexis.
Yes.
That is what Alexis has taught me. She has taught me this lesson using example number 1, Alpine. Look at that therapy cat. Look at that sad, damaged man and his cat. Isn't that a cute cat? It's Alexis's fault that I care about this fictional cat. I want this cat in the MCU, and it's all her fault.
I've never been more proud.
It's Alexis's fault that our logo is a white cat. Because of Alpine. So thank you for teaching me this, Alexis.
You're welcome.
She also taught me that I need to like cats using example number 2. Her cats, Sassy and Tommy. Follow them on Instagram at Tommy and Sassy Blake. Plug, plug, plug.
Why am I still these PowerPoints?
Listen, you're on Alexis's Instagram. I just took pictures from Alexis's Instagram.
Yeah, that is on my
Yeah.
Instagram.
On the left, we have Alexis and Sassy. And on the right, we have Tommy and Sly, Tommy's father.
I did not know I had reached parenthood status.
Are you married and you don't share parental rights?
We have had this discussion at one point. I think somebody asked about split cat custody, and Sly and I bowed out of that conversation.
I am in the will that I do get them if anything happens to
Okay.
Alexis.
That did happen.
Okay.
But I am not actively parenting.
Okay. I apologize. That's Tommy and his close friend, Sly. Example number 3. I shouldn't need any more examples. Look at the cats. I don't need another reason to like cats except Alexis's cats. I will say Alexis's Instagram does have a clear bias towards Tommy. There is a severe
Tommy
lack of
has a
Sassy
clear
pictures.
Bias
Sassy doesn't
towards
like-
being photographed.
Yes, Sassy does not like getting her picture taken.
I'm just saying, if you want me to like cats, you got to give me equal opportunity cat representation.
Okay, we will work on it. I will say, though, that Tommy has stopped joining the live show, and Sassy has started joining the live show weekly.
There has been a lot of Sassy sightings this evening. Very true. My favorite of these, I believe, would be Tommy on his perch because he needs to see out the window. I believe he's on a chair that I want to own, but Alexa says I can't have. Also on top of an ottoman?
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. The next reason why I should like cats. Captain Bobby Nash. This is not a defense. I can't stand by this, but it is an argument that has been made in favor of cats.
All right.
Also, Bobby Nash helped do the dishes this week, in case people aren't following Bobby Nash on Instagram.
Okay, another plug.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what the next slide is. In conclusion, I'm not a cat person, but I will pretend to be for Alexis on her birthday. Thank you for teaching me so much about why I am legally required to like cats. Yay, cats! This is my gift to you. Happy birthday.
Your conclusion has the feel of like Marissa is being held hostage and she is trying to communicate to the camera that she is not safe. In conclusion, yay, cats!
Help me, please.
Yeah. Thank you, Marissa. That was a wonderful PowerPoint.
You're welcome. Thank you for the education.
I especially appreciated the pictures.
There's lots more on Instagram at just Alexis Blake and at just Tommy and Sassy Blake.
Just
No,
at Tommy and Sassy Blake.
I think you should
unify
Unify
that. I'm going to go
branding.
change it, but yeah. Blink twice if you need help. Okay.
No, I'm good because I don't have to be in person with the cats. I just have to love them from afar.
Listen, I am also allergic to cats and I live with one. So you need to step up your game, Marissa.
Oh, that was another point I meant to make, but I didn't write it down. I have been told several times, even though I'm allergic to cats, there are pills that I can take so I can be around cats.
Yeah.
I'm toxic. That's not new news.
All right.
All right.
It's time.
Oh God. Okay.
Happy birthday, Alexis.
Oh, this is a gorgeous PowerPoint. There's a cake
Here's
and
where
there's
your
a
presentation
dinosaur and
begins.
shit.
Yes, I went to sciencego.com and I searched dinosaur birthday, and this is what we got. And some of the default text was hilarious, so I kept it. So just know that like some of this is default text, but it made me giggle, so you get to see it.
Great, fabulous, fantastic.
Here's where your presentation begins. My presentation is how to be a good spouse by me from the perspective of Alexis.
Oh Lord.
All right, we got 4 key aspects to being a good spouse: being thoughtful, supportive, empathetic, and secure. And yes, I did put dictionary definitions for all 4 of those words. You're welcome. All right. Number 1, being thoughtful. Oh, I just love the balloons. Okay, so I was going to put in like a quote about thoughtfulness, and then I googled quotes about thoughtfulness, and none of them were very thoughtful. And compared to this default text quote that reads, "This is a quote, words full of wisdom that someone important said and can make the reader get inspired," was more thoughtful than anybody's in history quotes about thoughtfulness.
I'm literally crying. Oh God.
So thank you to the default PowerPoint slide for this beautiful, thoughtful quote. Up next, being supportive. Whoa, that was another default text. If you can't be enthusiastic about receiving the drunken cow facts, then why would your partner trust you to be supportive about anything else?
So true.
Not that I sent any drunken cow facts
I like
last
how
night.
so much of these presentations is just about last night.
The best part though of
Great
last night
night.
was that Sly, like I was going to stop from sharing the facts, and Sly was like, as a supportive spouse, encouraged me to continue to share the facts. And literally Chris was like, "Oh, you're really talking about cows right now." Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay, continue.
All right. Up next, being empathetic. I don't remember what I wrote. All right. Oh. I don't know how to read numbers. Is that 4,300,000?
Yes.
That was also a default number, but the amount of times Alexis will apologize for no reason. You just
Very
have
true.
to reaffirm that you're apologizing for no reason, but I love you anyways. All right. Next up, feeling secure. The slide title goes here. Making sure your partner feels secure can be as simple as reassurance, lightly bullying them into self-care, and being a jealous, possessive bastard even if they don't know it.
Oh, that's very cute.
Oh.
And the most important thing, sharing fanfics you know they will never read just so they know what you're up to that day.
Also, sharing fanfics is how we got to the jealous, possessive bastard situation.
With that, the rest of this PowerPoint is just this. This template was so adorable. I thought you would appreciate the dino drawings and eggs. So we're just gonna click through the rest of these default. We got 3 columns. We got a picture reinforces the concept. Have a birthday cake. Percentages.
Oh no, hang on, there's space facts. You gotta go back. I want to read the space facts.
Space facts.
Space facts. Okay, we can continue.
All right. Another picture reinforcing the concept. This is a graph.
Exclamation mark. This is a graph.
Reviewing concepts is a good idea. Here's some more space facts.
Okay, we're good. I've read them all.
4 columns to distribute your info.
I'm now a little disappointed because they just keep reusing the same space facts. I feel
I'm
like
so
that was a missed
sorry.
Oh, it is?
opportunity.
Wow. It is the
A
same.
timeline always works well. An infographic measuring a dino friend.
Oh gosh, that dino friend is great.
How about
Wow.
a round infographic?
So many graphs.
This is a map. In case you didn't know.
I for Elizabeth, I live this little green one off to the right. That's where I live.
That is Europe.
Exactly. We got a little tree.
Oh, these ones are new. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, new space facts. I'm gonna use this PowerPoint for everything in grad school starting tomorrow. I'm so excited.
Wait, the Neptune
this
fact
for
is
you.
just Neptune. It's far away.
Yeah,
Uh-huh. They're great facts.
yeah.
What do you want from me, Marissa? Here's some stock photos of people throwing confetti just for
Joe
you.
and Joe.
Bucky. Oh, that's the credit. Here, have some little friends.
Oh, I like those little friends.
Very cute.
And that's it. I just needed you to appreciate all of the default slides at the end of my presentation.
It was a very good spousal moment of you. I feel very loved. Thank you.
That was beautiful.
That was fantastic.
Thank you
I'm crying.
so
It was
much.
good. Yes. Thank you, everyone. Those were great. And they were all about me, which made them better.
I'm fully standing by the fact that I won this PowerPoint night. Not like it was a competition, but I won. But I got a Liz and Haler moment and I made her cry. Just saying.
You did. You won.
Absolutely. I didn't know it was a competition, but I'm happy to lose. That's okay. That's okay. That's fine. That's fine.
Oh,
Well,
man.
Alexis, happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm trying
You're
to figure
welcome.
out how you were possibly going to end the show after that. And so I'm kind of living in fear.
I mean, there is, I mean, what can we say after dinosaur spousal presentations? I think we just got to plug and get out.
yeah, Sly does now have a fandom name though. That's being
That is a choice, but all right. I will say,
Slinosaurs.
Slinosaurs. I do have a habit of making alt accounts on a certain platform that I will not name. But I do have some interesting alt account names because of course I have Slyclun, that's my name everywhere. And then on a certain platform, yes, Bunky, you are the founding member. I appreciate you so much. I also have Slybot and Sly Machine. Because they are all tech bot related, but now I think I need dinosaur themed. Yes, that is hilarious. The fact that I was obsessed with Bunky and wanted so badly to be their friend, and was like Bunky's #1 fan, to now have Bunky be the founder of my fandom is the full circle moment. This is my accepted speech. Thank you to the Academy and my friends and family that brought me to this point, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Also, that friendship was supplied a great example of Alexis being a jealous, possessive bastard. If anybody wants to go back and rewatch those episodes.
Well, I don't think there's anything more to say. This has been great. This has been wonderful. Oh, we're getting dinosaurs in the
Alexis.
chat now.
Before we close out, speech.
No, I know you were going to say that.
Speech.
No, I have no speech to give.
Speech. You got to give a speech.
It's my birthday. I'm really awesome. And
Yes.
I've never once in my life believed that about myself, but I am really thankful to be a part of this show in this community. And I am so honored that everyone is here giving me tacos and dinosaurs. It means so much to me that you all hang out with us this week or every week this week. And my husband is great. And Marissa is wonderful. And Liz has a really frightening understanding of how the South actually works. And I also love Liz. And being 21 is what it felt like last night when I discovered you could get sugar on tequila. It's great. Big sugar.
5 out of 5 Alpines for that speech.
That was a perfect speech. And now, Alexis, plug yourself.
Oh, I forgot who I was for a second. I'm Alexis. You can find me at Just Alexis Blake all over the internet, where I talk about grad school and estate sales and tell dumb stories about fan fiction that I should not tell that then get uncomfortably popular. You can check me out there for all those things. And apparently drunk cow facts, if you would like those. Just let me know, and I will share them with you as well.
Amazing. That was perfect.
Thank you.
Sly.
I'm Sly. You can find me everywhere on the internet at SlyCloneMC. You can find me with Thirsty Thursday 4.0, the return of 911 recaps on TikTok Live every Thursday night until I inevitably get us banned again. You can find me on Point in Progress and specifically the NC University podcast, wherever we get podcasts, and on YouTube. We're bringing back for season 2, just launched with X-Men First Class. I absolutely fucking adored that movie, so go check that episode out.
No surprises there.
You can find me here on We'll Throw the After Party at After Party Show, everywhere where we can be found.
Yeah. And I am Marissa. You can find me at Missabobissa on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, talking about theater and Marvel and Disney and Wigs and just having a grand old time. And of course, you can find Liz, our fearless producer Liz, at Producer Liz on TikTok and Instagram, at Producer Liz with 2 Z's on Twitter. And you can find her on the new podcast, the new BBC Sounds podcast, Pinned, this week, talking all about Don't Worry Darling, the Don't Worry Darling drama, the publicity drama, not spoiling the movie. So definitely check that out. And of course, you can find We'll Throw the After Party on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at After Party Show, SHO. And you can follow us on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, like, and comment. If you're a replayer, say hey in the comments. We will say hey right back. And be sure to join us again next week on We'll Throw the After Party. Do we have an end card? Thank you so much. Goodbye. Happy birthday, Alexis.
Yay!